Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Project C. I am your host, Cina Ghiassi. Today, I've got the beautiful Nina Silic, William Diaz, and Ryan Gleeson in the house. We are here to do a podcast to talk about the Empowered Ladies Body Seminar. Is that correct, Nina?
That is correct. Close enough.
Close enough? Well, how would you...
It is. It's exactly right. So it's the Ladies Empowered Seminar, pretty much. Yeah.
This Saturday, the 3rd of September at 2 p.m., correct?
2:30 to 5:30.
And where is this being held? I couldn't find that on the internet.
At Brazilian Combat in Malaga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's numbers looking so far?
We literally have about 5 spots left to go.
Damn.
So we're capping it at 50.
Yeah.
So we did limit it because of space, and we want to make sure we give everyone enough attention. And we have about 5 spots left. So people need to snap it up if they want to get involved.
So what's this seminar all about? Just give us a breakdown about what's going to be covered.
Well, basically, the 3 of us came together a couple of months ago, just started discussing, how we can bring all of our knowledge and skills together and, create something, not necessarily for women initially, was it? We were just talking about doing a general educational seminar mixed with jiu-jitsu. And then I have a very large female audience and following, and I have for a long time, just because of the fitness industry and everything like that. So I thought, well, why don't we focus it on women? Because I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu maybe, 6 months ago now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Roughly. And it's actually impacted me in many different ways. And I thought that's a really great way to...
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And I'm slightly addicted now.
You got that itch.
Wait until you do a competition.
Yeah.
Then
November.
you're going to catch the bug.
The bug is there.
Well, Nina's doing a first comp in November, so...
Which competition's in November?
I don't know.
You'll be one of the Perth Cups.
We're going to register for it.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't even get a say in it if your coach tells you
No.
you're doing it.
I'm doing it. So I've got Will and Ryan backing me. But, then we came together thinking, how are we going to put a seminar together for women? How are we going to empower women? So the seminar is all about, body image is actually a very big issue, something I've dealt with within the fitness industry, but it's a huge prevailing issue just in society in general. So we're speaking a lot about body image issues, how they've impacted me, what women go through, because women go through this and men too, but no one speaks about it. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that, plus nutrition, how to fuel your body, how nutrition can really help overcome your body image issues. Ryan's going to be speaking more about recovering your body. A lot of girls will train hard, don't eat anything, and then they don't look after themselves either. So Ryan will be delving into that. And we thought, well, how can jiu-jitsu tie into it? Because for me personally, jiu-jitsu distracted me from any body image issues that I was facing. So it's like an hour of my day where I don't think about my body, I think about my performance.
Yeah.
And same thing in the gym where if I'm strength training, I think about how much I'm lifting rather than how I look.
Absolutely.
And I think, that's a big breakthrough. That's a big deal. So we thought, let's collaborate and help empower women. Let's take their mind off their bodies. Let's teach them how to overcome that, and let's teach them how to live more of a healthier, happier, fuller life rather than suffering with what they are.
Damn.
Suffering with.
And some self-defense in there as well.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah. So
Because I saw this video today that you kind of took Will down. Pretty nice.
I let her. Look, it was like...
he thinks he let me, but really he went flying.
So background-wise, Will's a jiu-jitsu black belt. Quite a young one at that. For most people who don't participate in jiu-jitsu, don't actually realize how many years it actually takes to become a jiu-jitsu black belt. And Will, how old were you when you actually got your black belt?
I was 20 years old.
That's
so
insane.
Phenomenal.
That's crazy.
Phenomenal. Because jiu-jitsu is a martial arts that...
We're looking at 10 years.
10 to
10 I started at 10. So.
Yeah, I know. But it's still crazy. I mean, it's a good 10 to 20 years to get your black belt. Getting it so young is phenomenal. And Will's done so well on the international scene as well with competitions and real knowledgeable jiu-jitsu guy. Anyone from Perth who's in the jiu-jitsu scene definitely knows of Will. And Ryan is, Ryan, you can tell us about you. Dr. Ryan. He's also my chiropractor, so I highly recommend him.
All of us.
All of us.
We got the whole team on board. I got the last member on quite recently.
Yes, I am hooked in.
Yeah, a couple of things we've got in common is jiu-jitsu and chiropractic.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess for me, how I got linked in with jiu-jitsu as well with Will is because I do obviously a lot of performance and a lot of athletes in terms of doing their chiro and so one of the MMA guys, Xavier Lucas, remember him? Yeah, so basically, he was one of the first guys I ever sponsored years ago, and I basically just asked him, who do you reckon's best up and coming guy, and he gave me sort of Will's name, and then I obviously contacted his dad, and we got involved, and then from there, then we sort of snowballed, we got along pretty well. Then we went to Japan in 2013, and we went in the Asian Open, and so we had an absolute blast. We went there for about 4 days, but that Will got the double gold, and from there I never did jiu-jitsu until sort of 2.5 years ago, and I was pretty lost with my training as well. I did a lot of just weight training, but for me that just didn't really provide. I still do obviously, but that didn't really give me a whole heap of purpose with training as well. And I just felt for years since I stopped playing rugby when I was 21, I didn't really have any real sort of purpose with my training as well. And I always avoided jiu-jitsu because I thought, injuries, being a chiropractor, running my own business, and that's
when you describe it to most people, you say, well, what's jiu-jitsu? Well, it's a submission-based martial arts where initially we concentrate on chokes, submissions, breaking arms, breaking limbs. But we don't. When you don't, it's so controlled, and there's it's a real misconception with it. I mean, you watch obviously guys in UFC and MMA competing and stuff, and obviously they're going full pelt, whatever. But when you're actually in the gym and competing, it's such a beautiful environment. Because once you walk in, once you get involved, you probably felt this when you started, Nina.
Yes.
That everyone's so giving and so they just advise you on. There's no egos within the gym. Your ego, you leave it at the door. Yeah. You walk in. I mean, Will, you probably got hundreds of stories of guys coming in with an ego and walking out.
It's no. Maybe if they come, no, they don't last at all. They come in thinking they're the strongest man in the world, and they leave like they're just. A little girl, they just get schooled and,
Well, it crushes them because you see a lot of guys coming in with that ego and then they're just baffled, be like, I'm strong at the gym,
doesn't matter how strong you are.
They'll go down one or two paths. They'll go, look, this is stuff, it's not for me. Yeah. Or they'll go, there's something more to this. Yeah. And then, depending on what path.
It's incredible. Like for me, studying that was just, now I train with, there's not many females that do it in class. Like now we've got a few recruits, which is pretty good. But for a while there, it was just me with all the boys. And that is so intimidating. Even as I picture myself as a strong female coming from a gym background, training with boys all the time. But when someone's up in your space, like cuddling
it is like intimate because it's grappling.
It's so close, you
were like hugging like the whole time, but trying not to die.
Did you have these shakes a little bit when you were starting?
Yeah, I was really nervous. But the fact, like you said, I've never experienced anything like the jiu-jitsu community where it's really like a family. And every class, everyone was so helpful. And I was so fortunate to have Will just saying, hey, will message me every week. You come into class, Because if it wasn't for that, I probably would have stopped coming because it's scary and I'd get really scared going to class every week. But I'm so happy I kept going because now, like I said, it's like a family. I've never experienced anything like it. There's zero ego. I have not found anyone with an ego in, the 2 gyms that we train at. And now I'm like, you get the newbies come in. I'm not really a newbie anymore. I'm like the
You're
next level.
You're a seasoned white belt.
6 months into training.
I'm like this second level newbie kind of thing. And you get like the big boys coming in and you sweep them and they just freak out. I'm like, it's the best, and you're like doing an armbar on like an 80 kilo guy and they tap and you're like, yes, this is the best day ever. But it's really incredible where the technique behind it, it doesn't matter what size you are. It is an advantage for the guys if they're heavier. But
and that's what we're going to be also showing in the seminar. So I mean, it is self-defense
for women,
orientated for women, but also it's going to be a lot of jiu-jitsu because jiu-jitsu has a lot of self-defense in it, and to me jiu-jitsu is probably one of the best sports for self-defense and for women, who like out there these days, it's crazy, you've got crazy people all over. So you need to know how to defend yourself. You need to know what to do and not freak out if something like that happened to you.
Especially with guys, you find that they will grapple with the girl. They won't necessarily strike, but they'll grab him.
Exactly.
And with jiu-jitsu, you you understand that mentality of sweeps and breaking
and creating the
grips or
distance
anything like that.
Yeah, you know, and that's what I was. That's what we were practicing today. Is basically, you know, you do something. If you ever like get attacked, you do something.
Grab from behind.
You know, and you do one move. You know, get out of it, and you know, you get away. Yeah. You know, so.
It's funny. We actually went through a lot of moves today. We probably won't even get through them all next week. But Will was literally like, "All right, so if you're a guy and you're attacking me, what would you do?" And I'm like,
Guys out there.
I don't know.
Guys are gonna be scared out there too. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's pretty funny, but even today, like I learned a lot just from today because in class we don't really do self-defense. It's just jiu-jitsu. You're fighting, you know, you're learning how to fight and submit and all that kind of stuff.
You pick everything up kind of gradually along the way.
Yeah.
But today we actually had to put it all into, you know,
a presentation in a way.
A practical scenario of what might actually happen in real life. Yeah. And I didn't actually realize until Will took me through a few things today where I was like, oh my God, this is, you know, this could save someone's life. Like, honestly, it really could. Correct, and just the simplest thing, like, especially the takedown we did that I put on my Instagram today, the simplest thing is so effective. Yeah. It's incredible. Like, he went flying. It was great. It was
I let you know that.
It's just even being comfortable off your back sometimes if you are in that position sometimes. I've been in a position where I was in a street fight where we didn't start it. It was just me and my friend, and 5 guys jumped us, and we were defending back. But they had me on the ground, and they were trying to stop me. But because of hip escapes, I was I'm dead serious.
Shoot back.
Because of hip escapes, I was able to like maneuver out and kind of up kick, so I could hold them off for at least 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Funny enough, luckily. It's probably I had another like 5 seconds before I got my head kicked in, but there was an ambulance who drove past, turned the sirens on, and they all just scattered. But it's
enough to get away, right? You know, or at least, you know,
it's
when you've got 5 guys.
A hip escape
can do amazing things.
But honestly, it's incredible. Like, as a female, I now walk down the street. I've got a bit of a Muay Thai background for the last couple of years too. But I walk down the street now and I'm like, yep, whatever, I'm good. Come at me, bro.
Damn.
I know.
But it is really, in terms of from a female perspective, it's really empowering, and you just feel confident. You don't feel scared whatsoever, and you can at least do something to get away, you know?
Have you done other seminars before?
I personally have done a few just this past year, more nutrition based. I'm more of like a lifestyle coach, nutrition, teaching people how to achieve their goals with balance and all of that kind of thing. But I've never collaborated before, so this is really cool. It's more fun. Yeah. And I think, collaborating, you don't know everything yourself. So, you know, everyone can bring a different element to it, which is cool.
I like the fact you brought in Ryan, though, because what I've come to realize this year is...
She felt bad for me. Yeah.
I was like, well, we have to.
Well, no, because Ryan actually plays a really...
We need a third member. We need a side dish.
Ryan actually plays a really crucial role, and a lot of people don't realize this. When you train, the maintenance of your body is so important. I came to see Ryan at the beginning of the year, and I actually told him, I'm actually going to give up jiu-jitsu or I'm going to give up weight training because I couldn't take the neck issue. Like, I would always go to bed taking ibuprofen, just constant neck pains. And
it's incredible.
He told me straight up, I mean, you know, you're too young. I'm 28. And he said, we'll do, well, you say it. Well, what exactly is your approach with a guy like me who walks in?
Well, a lot of people want the quick fix, and that's the thing with like a lot of, and particularly one of the problems with, you know, society in general, but particularly a lot of martial arts, is that, you know, people wait till they're just so far gone until they actually address things, and often even when they are far gone, they still can sort of, you know, get on top of it. It's just
because pain is, this is what you just told me, pain is the last indicator, really, that something's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a lagging symptom. So, I mean, only 10% of the nerves in your body actually, you know, there's part of it transmit messages for pain. So, I mean, your nervous system controls basically, you know, everything. So, only 10% of it's got to do with pain. So, you can have, you know, pressure on a nerve and zero pain. Yeah, but you're always going to have some form of dysfunction anyway. So, you know, as to, you know, why some people get symptoms, other people don't, it's a hard thing to say, you know, in terms of why people get headaches, why people get some lower back issues. I mean, I've seen people that on testing they're terrible, but they don't have any major pain.
I think he told me like Will had a few issues within his body, but he just trains right through, like,
which is like most people, as well. And people are more reactive rather than proactive. So, part of what my role to do is anyone comes in, obviously thoroughly assess them, but I generally come up with based on what they want and their own goals, come up with a plan and sort of work through it, and using various sort of technology that we got in the clinic to actually demonstrate, because people are very visual, and one thing to telling someone what's going on, but when they can actually see via using some of the tech that we do, and then retest it, and then they get actually measure it, that's when it's definitely more powerful.
It's funny, I've never really believed in chiro until I saw
a lot of people don't, and this is the thing as well. Sorry to cut you off, but there's a real misconception with chiropractors, and I actually told Ryan when I started out this podcast, it's definitely I wanted to get Ryan in. It's great that three of you are here together, but I really wanted him in.
You and need to do a second one just with Ryan.
I mean, Verve, I will. I will definitely bring in his brother as well. I'm
always how to drink Canadian Club. It's overflowing.
The guest of honor.
Hence why I stick with water.
We were plugging
Ryan. It's funny, and like
just send me the bill. It's all right.
I went to chiros when I was a lot younger, and they just give you a bit of a crack, and that's it, and didn't fix any issues. Whereas the tech they have at the clinic is incredible. You can see everything, and making sure I go weekly now, especially with jiu-jitsu, your limbs are going everywhere.
Jiu-jitsu, weight training, if you play, I play soccer, any kind of training, rugby guys, I'm sure you...
Weight training, I didn't realize how
cross
much
trainers, I'm sure you get
CrossFitters, neural function was getting blocked until I saw you, because I couldn't, just my grip, like everything was just not
he ran me through
strong.
like all those kinds of tests, and it was phenomenal. My body just started making these rapid recoveries, and I could finally start consistently training. I mean, I've only had one neck issue since then, and that was only because of the whole podcast thing. I'd be sitting down on the computer, kind of editing for hours, get up, trying to be active, and then I tweaked my neck.
But even your quality of sleep and stuff like that.
And
that's non-pain based. A lot of people don't. That's the thing. A lot of people don't get bad pain, or they think, it's just a mild muscle issue or whatever it is. And, that's why they don't go get any work done. But then, they might get these other issues, like they don't sleep well, or they get
bladder
digestion
thing
or digestive issues or whatever it was.
The bladder one, you told me how I would wake up every night using the bathroom. And you're like, that's
so
not normal.
Me too, I'll pee 50 times.
I wasn't aware, but that wasn't, you told me.
It's linked to lower back issues. I mean, very common. There can be, obviously someone's pregnant or, but generally someone under 50, who's pretty, we can rule that out with viewers. Generally someone's under 50 and pretty healthy, non-diabetic, and that, no other sort of underlying issues. Generally, they shouldn't be getting
It's
up
a pressure that's put on the bladder?
Pressure on the nerves in your lower back.
Yes.
And that's a common thing is when that happens, because they not only affect, can cause lower back pain, they may not cause, but, they affect things like your leg strength. Definitely, and that's where a lot of people, the guys who are like CrossFitters and weightlifters that come in, they find, once they might as well, they sometimes can, other times they might not get pain, but they find, once that actually starts to free up the nerve supply in the lower back, goes to the legs, they find, actually, my muscle activation's better.
Yeah, I find my strength's gone up and my mobility is just amazing.
Yeah.
I go every week now.
So people out there, don't neglect a good chiro. Definitely come and check out Ryan.
Ryan's a good chiro.
He's a phenomenal chiro.
And the thing with because only probably about 13% of people in Australia have actually ever been, and it's very little. And that's someone who might have gone once when they were 15 years of age. And the problem with chiro, I mean, the beauty of it, but also the problem is it's so diverse. In that there's so many different ways of practicing techniques. Some chiros focus on pain and alignment, other ones more nervous system function, wellness, these sort of things. Or us, we're more obviously nervous system, biomechanics, performance. So look, there is a lot of variation with it, and for everyone, they might enjoy going to someone, but for someone else, it's absolutely not for them. And if that's their first experience, they'll go, no.
But a good thing though for us, especially who train, is actually to go see someone who trains as well.
Yeah, of course.
And instead of just saying to you, you got to stop, there's other ways around it. Yeah. And I mean, for myself, I've done jiu-jitsu for, 16 years now. And basically, I heard a lot of times, you just got to take some time off. Rather sometimes, it's not necessary.
Yeah, you don't need
necessary to take some time off. So that's why I find good going to Verve and, of course, Ryan, because, he does what I do. So he understands. So if I tell him, I've done this, I've done that, he understands the movement, he understands the mechanics, and that's a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
Rather than just going to someone who's
got knee jerk, response, just going take 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Take 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
textbook.
Stop doing jiu-jitsu, stop doing CrossFit, whatever it is. Whereas so many of these things can be worked through. Like, I mean, there's times, there's points in times where you do need to take time off. Look, to be honest, that's very rare in terms of extended periods. But it's just a matter of, finding that practitioner that understands your sport, whether it be,
Jiu-jitsu, especially because like I work with it, so I really can't take any time off.
It's your profession, isn't it?
That's what you do every day.
So it's just finding the right practitioner, whether it be a physio, chiro, osteo, whatever it is, that does actually understand your sport. Because the thing is, one thing's me jumping up and down about how chiro can benefit, but if someone doesn't understand that sport, they're not going to get a good outcome from that as well. So that's probably the main thing. With that.
Okay, nice. And with this seminar coming up, I mean, is there going to be future ones coming up based on feedback? Has there been any talk about that yet?
We were chatting about this today, actually.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Because I mean, you've only got five spots left, so it's been successful in terms of numbers.
But the thing is, when we first came out with this idea, we were like gonna, sort of thinking about, of course, the ladies, but we're thinking about the guys as well, and to do something like, towards the guys, and something for kids as well, something like that. So there's definitely ideas out there that we're going to be working on, but definitely with the girls one, we're definitely going to do another one.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure it's going to be number 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows?
I've been the registration girl, so I've been registering everyone as girls do. But I've had a lot of emails from women saying, I really want to come. I can't make this one. Like, please tell me when there's another one. So there's already some really cool interest, and I think we can just make it bigger and better.
We'll get to tweak it and
exactly.
No one's not from my knowledge, no one's ever done like a collaboration like this before. So especially, I've been in the fitness industry for a long time, and you get your nutrition seminars, you get your strength training seminars, but what about something different? Or just bring that different element, and no one's really done that before.
Well, the collaboration will work really well.
Exactly.
I mean, especially with all three knowledges. It should work very well. I can see it definitely being successful.
I've actually had a few guys email me and been really disappointed that they can't come. I'm like, sorry, females only. We'll do a guys one soon.
There's definitely going to be a guys one as well, just, So.
But the guys just come down to a jiu-jitsu local gym.
Yeah,
come down
exactly.
to our combat sports in Malaga.
And girls, come on. And the girls.
And the girls. The girls. I mean,
I'll be there so they'll feel comfortable.
But sometimes all they need is just that little step in.
Yeah.
So also that's what it's about. It's just
that
little
stepping stone.
We're
going to give them a taste, and then they're going to get hooked.
Yeah.
And nutrition-wise, is there something? Because nutrition, in my experience over the years, I've always played with my own nutrition. I've always found that every individual is quite unique, and some depending on their dietary needs. Some people adapt better with certain foods, and other people don't. Yep. Do you, with your nutrition, do you find it's a bit more generic and presentable to a broader base, or it's more? Yes. It's more in terms of bodybuilding. No.
So do you mean from my coaching perspective?
Yeah,
the way I do it?
Yeah.
Basically, look, at the end of the day, with any client, it's about working towards their goals, whether they're a bodybuilder, whether they just want to live a healthy life, whether they're fighting. I actually prepped Will for his Abu Dhabi fight. He needed my help. I basically said, what are you doing? And he was like this. I went, oh my God, do you want me to help
Will loves rice and beans.
I know, man.
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans every day.
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans.
But we're going to that in a sec. But basically, I've been competing in the bodybuilding scene for a long time. I've learned definitely what not to do the hard way. I could definitely
it's trial and error. All of this is trial and error.
Yeah,
even in jiu-jitsu, it's all trial and error.
Exactly, and through my experience, I've learned the most healthiest approach possible to that. But basically, my approach is flexible dieting. So no matter who you are, there's no bad foods for me. That's my motto. There is no bad foods. The only foods there are for you to reach your goals are what fits the numbers you need for your goals. So what protein you need to eat, what carbohydrates, the number of how much fats you need to eat. And even though it is a flexible approach, and you pick the foods you like. Yeah. So why would you want it, the way I see any nutrition plan or diet, if you don't see yourself doing that nutrition plan or diet for 6 months to a year from now, don't even bother starting. You're just going to fail.
Well,
it's not sustainable.
It has to become a lifestyle. That's what I came to realize when I started playing with diets. It's you do something for a month or two, and then you'd be like, yeah, then you'd blow up again. You really have to adopt it as a lifestyle, and say, you know what, this suits my body type. I enjoy it. It works well with everything I do.
Exactly. And what if I said to you, right, okay, you can eat anything you want, but you can't eat chocolate for the next 3 months. What are you going to think about for the next 3 months?
Yeah.
Just chocolate. Oh my God, give me some chocolate. But if I say to you, you can eat anything you want, no food is off limits at all, you just have to hit your numbers.
The macro numbers.
Uh-huh.
So explain to people what macros is.
Macros.
Because some people don't know, like, this is the thing. Yeah.
Okay, it's called flexible dieting. So macros basically.
This is when those crazy people, it looks like they're crazy in the supermarket and just reading the back.
I'm that person.
Well,
I read the labels of like everything.
Yeah. So that's whenever you see someone doing that, that's essentially they're looking at the back, the calories, the fat, the protein, the sugars.
Because you want to get
understanding the macros.
You want to get as much food as you can for your macro buck.
Yeah.
Like you want to eat a lot. So basically macros is short for macronutrients, which is your big nutrients, which is protein, carbs, and fats. That's all that means. So whether your goals to gain weight, you want to be, your overall calories is what matters at the end of the day. You're going to be eating more than you're burning. And if you want to lose weight, you do have to be in a caloric deficit. So basically, you know, you just have protein, carbs, and fats numbers that it is tailored. Like it does take some work, say, for a coach to work out what macros you should be on and where to start. And it takes adjusting week by week depending on how your body responds. So that's where a coach comes into it. But for someone daily life, like why would you want to cut out the foods you love just to reach a goal? Because that's not living life, you know? Food is life, like seriously. You want to enjoy that. So at least if you're training hard, you know, even with Will, when we prepped him, he was in pretty like intense restriction because he had to drop a lot of weight in a short period of time.
What were you in Abu Dhabi?
You lost 10 kilos.
74.
74 kilos.
I started at 86. And
Do you have a photo for the viewers?
Oh no,
I do. Oh my goodness.
You were, yeah.
I was
But
about
he worked hard.
86.
What are you now?
I'm about 83 now.
83,
For
yeah.
someone
I'm about
who,
83.
for you, basically,
And you don't have a lot of fat. Keep in mind.
No.
he's lean.
You always got a six pack all year round.
Yeah.
So to say 74, that's insane.
Yeah. Well, it was a thing that like really, it was crazy. Hey, I don't know why I did that, but it was also a challenge.
Would you go back to that weight and compete again?
I'm going next year.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, because I think, you know, it's all about learning, and it's all about like, you know, I mean, it was the first time I did it. Did I feel my performance? Yes, I did feel a little bit, but you know, if I probably started a bit earlier, you know, I didn't have like such a long time frame. Like when I decided that, I kind of was already too close to it, but I said, you know, like I can do it. And I just focus on the diet, and I focus on the training as well, you know.
But was that your first time? That was your first time doing macros.
Exactly.
So how did you find that experience?
Yeah, it was the first time, you know, and to be honest, it was a little bit like difficult just to get used to it. But like now, when you get used to it, it's really easy.
Yeah.
And anyone can do it.
Because Will used to struggle to make 79.
I used to,
like
exactly.
the couple of years before for the Worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 79, you struggled to get down to that like you did for 74.
But that's the problem is when you don't have the knowledge, you know, like, you know, when you do on your own. And I was always used to do on my own, like to do what I think it's right. But sometimes, you know, like I felt with performance, you know, like you remember in Japan, you know, literally like the day before the competition, I was in the sauna.
We didn't see you for the whole 2
Well,
days later.
pretty much, you know, like I was in the sauna, you know, and what I was doing, I was just losing water, I was losing nutrients, you know, so did it affect my performance? Absolutely, you know, I just wishing.
Do you have a bad weight cut story? Or that's probably pretty much as bad as it goes. Because I don't know if you saw my podcast with Wes Kappa, which congratulations to Wes. He won the Australian middleweight title last night. Well done, Wes. That's brilliant from Perth. Wes had a hilarious story how he passed out in the sauna, smashed all his
Oh my God.
Yeah, watch that podcast.
Which one? Well, I have a funny story, right? So I think that was
I want to add to this later.
That was about when I think that was the first time that I went to Abu Dhabi. I was a brown belt, and I literally I was like, okay, well, I've got 4 kilos to lose. How am I gonna do it? And everyone just tells you, just go in the sauna.
What, when you got there, you had 4 kilos to lose?
Yeah, but I had about
Jesus.
a week. right? And everyone's like, the weight's the day
Still a
before.
week? Oh my
4
God.
kilos is nothing. We'll just do sauna, and it's gonna be all right.
Oh my God.
And basically, so I'm like, this brown belt, just in Abu Dhabi, where all the athletes were, all the big names were there, and I just literally getting to this sauna, and there's like Andrea Galvão, Rodolfo Vieira, Leandro Lo,
These are legends.
Yeah.
just legends there, like just losing, just almost making weight, and it was just about time to go, and you had like Gustavo, who's he helped me that year, like with my training, and I mean he used to teach at Mac 1 as well, and we used to do some training together, and basically he was wearing like a sweatsuit and just like laying down like on the sauna like that, and then like he just asked one of the guys to literally like wake him up after 10 minutes. He had within like 6 hours, no, I think within like 5 hours he had to lose 6 kilos.
Jesus.
I've heard
He
about
did it.
Oh
And
my
he-
God.
well, I'll tell you
I've
the
heard about
funny thing.
Gustavo's weight cut stories. He's got I've heard that he once was like.
How are you alive
But then he
after
had the
that?
fight.
I've heard like stories where he would just
First match.
walk
Jesus
out,
Christ.
have a piece of ice, and then just go back in because he's like, I just felt like it because he could tolerate the weight cut.
Well, but the thing is, okay, so then you've got Gustavo there, and I had about 3.5 kilos within like 5 hours, and he had about 6.5 kilos. So basically, he had a sweatsuit on, and he was just laying down, and he had it was a horrible time for him, but he just seemed to just just do it,
Get on with it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile it was one of my first times, so I was struggling so bad after like the third session, man. I was like, I can't do this, and then I had a guy, and then I had one of the guys there, and he was like a black belt. He was one of the referees, and he's basically he came in fresh, and he's like, guys, you need some help, and then everyone's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, no worries. I'm going to take you through a program. And then everyone just looks at each other. And then he's like, okay, no worries.
He was Brazilian?
It was a Brazilian guy.
You have to be
It's
Brazilian.
like,
You're not welcome to the sauna.
and then well, he was a well-known guy. Everyone knew him, but like as soon as he goes in and he goes, all right, well, I'm going to, lock the door. No one leaves. And there was guys there. There was like in there for already like 10 minutes. It's like, all right, guys, we're gonna do 10 minutes. No, you gotta do 9 minutes, and then the last minute you have to do 1 minute of star jumps, and that's the best way to lose weight in the sauna. Everyone looks at each other like, far out, like it's gonna be crazy. Anyways, after like 7 minutes, people are like wanting to pass out, and he's like, nah, no one leaves. People are trying to get in. He's like, nah, no one enters, and then he's like, all my time. And then when he hits 9 minutes, he's like, okay, everyone up doing star jumps in the sauna, which is as
I was
big
gonna
as...
say, how big is the
Oh my
sauna?
God.
where
And
everything's
then
done?
all you see, and is guys just like literally moving their arms in their head. And then you see Gustavo, getting up and just literally doing this as he star jump.
Just head bobbing.
Just head bobbing. After that, literally he just... we just pretty much had to carry him to the weigh-in,
Wow.
That was one of the funniest stories. Oh, I made weight,
Did you compete that day or the next?
No, that was the next day.
Which is unusual for jiu-jitsu though.
Well,
Because most
mainly,
time with jiu-jitsu you're doing the
yeah,
same day.
it's on the same
Like
day.
a
But
15-minute
with Abu
weigh-in
Dhabi,
before.
Certain
competitions,
competitions in jiu-jitsu, you get a 24-hour window, but for the most part, you
Yeah.
don't. If you do any local comps
Oh,
or
yeah,
state
it's
comps,
all
Even the
day.
world's
10 minutes.
it's all 15 minutes.
Is
it?
it?
World's
Yeah.
on, yeah.
So you're basically weighing in, going straight. So you essentially should compete at the weight you train at.
yeah, exactly.
You gotta manage
So
weight
we
cut a
did
lot
good
better.
then for Abu Dhabi this time.
Yeah, I mean, look, for a
Compared to
point,
that.
yeah, I thought I wasn't gonna make it, to be honest.
Is that just black belts or every belt gets a 24-hour recovery?
Yeah, every belt,
Okay.
yeah, from white to. But the weight classes are there's in the Abu Dhabi Federation. There's like the gaps are bigger, so that's why people want to cut a lot of weight, and that's why they do the 24 hours window for you to recover, which is not really, I mean, when you dehydrate your
long
body
It would take at least
for
3
that,
days. Probably.
exactly,
Yeah.
so when you dehydrate your body for that long, you gotta know your performance is not gonna be 100%. And, you know, it's just one thing that you got to, you know, just deal with and try and get through the first and second match. I mean, you know, in Abu Dhabi, really, I got to a point, like training and, you know, my preparation.
Physically, like when you were competing, I mean, were you cramping? Were you sore? Were you not explosive?
Look, to be honest, at Abu Dhabi, my first match, it was a really difficult match with a guy from Japan. He had a really strong guard. And to be honest, I felt like literally my whole body was just weak. And I didn't have the strength that I'm used to. You know, so again, you know, the window that I had to cut my weight, probably, you know, I didn't get used to being, you know, I mean, of course, the next day, I think I weighed myself, I was probably about 79 again on the day. But, you know, all the nutrients, all the water, I mean, I tried the best I could to hydrate myself with the hydrolytes and everything else, you know, but you're not the same, you know. And I felt really weak, and I got through the first fight. In the second fight, you know, I got a really, really tough opponent, who just...
That's when Brown and Black was together.
No, that was just the recent one.
Oh, the recent one.
Yeah, that was just a recent one, you know. And I just basically felt, you know, like I had no strength whatsoever. You know, it was really hard. It was really hard. And for, you know, from what I'm used to being, you know, I was used to being an 86 kilo guy with a lot of strength. And, you know, but there's definitely, you know, a week after that, then we went to Brazil. And that was a whole new story because I was already used to being low. You know, I was probably about 77, 78.
You didn't blow up, yeah.
Exactly. And I made weight just perfectly. No, not an issue at all, you know, and I felt a lot better.
I was like, do not eat the world. Do not eat the world.
You don't know about acai bowls. He did well to make weight.
Yeah, but I didn't have too much before though.
We all had to cut a bit for Brazil.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, definitely, you know, because I could tell if I was probably used to that weight for probably a bit longer, my performance would be a lot different. But again, the time frame that we had,
it was cutting it fine.
You know, and it was like,
well, you know, for next year.
And that's what I mean, you know, that's why I'm confident that I can do again next year. You know, I'm confident that I can go down to that weight again, obviously with more time, with more preparation, and that's what it's all about. It's about learning and, you know, and that's how you're going to achieve your goals, you know, but don't leave it for last minute.
No.
That's one thing I can tell you.
One thing I found with like the fighting world, I blew my mind. Like one thing with Will was like, we were just chatting as friends, and he was just telling me he was struggling and kept like binge eating on the weekend and all that kind of thing. And the guys just go too drastic too soon. And this is where we need to do more of a generic men's seminar or in general about nutrition. They just cut all the calories out too soon. Like I was eating more than he was at one point, you know. And how do you perform? Like as an 86 kilo guy, how do you train?
Exactly.
Like, how do you...
I mean, this is not bodybuilding.
Exactly.
No, I mean,
yeah,
physically, yeah.
But even the bodybuilders, for example, or anyone, like you want to still have...
Describe to me, like, what is the weight cut like in a bodybuilding in the scene? Because
you're really taking it as slow as you can because you don't want to lose muscle. And that's for an everyday person too. That's how I was structured. I'd go, okay, we don't want to lose more than half a kilo to a kilo a week, because that is, you know, you don't want to lose muscle, you want to preserve muscle. And for a competitive bodybuilder, that is really, really important. But I think the same principle should apply to the fighters, because you lose muscle, you lose strength and performance, regardless of what sport you're doing. So when they just cut calories drastically, they're making weight, but they're losing muscle too, and you're going to lose strength and you're not going to be able to perform. And the one thing, what I find the fighters do by cutting things too quick or, you know, too drastically, they have to perform all the time. It's not just on the comp day. You have to train hard and be performing and feel good in the gym leading up to that. So you need the fuel source for it. So my whole approach is, right, let's get you results that get you your weight down, but on the most food possible. Like, let's try not to. So in the end, we actually added more food for Will. Like when you were cutting, remember, and you said, let's I said, let me help you. And we actually put more food in, which made you more compliant. You weren't going off your diet and you felt better and you actually started dropping. So,
yeah, well, and just like, what's the difference then, you know, because of course in bodybuilding, you know, you're there for how long are you in stage for a couple of minutes, and when jiu-jitsu,
I think the only main difference is the comp day, to be honest. The training, like bodybuilders still, I mean, I'm not a bodybuilder anymore. I'm kind of done with that. But you know, you still train hard in the gym. You still lift. You still
Yeah, but for
working
how long
your
do you
ass off.
perform for though? Like
But
that's the
on the, I'm
thing.
saying on the comp day,
Yeah.
that's the only difference. That
Yeah.
is the only main difference. You guys have to really
How,
perform.
Exactly.
How do you actually feel physically though on stage? Because they look amazing. Do you feel it? Do you feel a little bit
It's
lighthearted?
honestly, I've been through a few different processes, and a lot of people do deplete their athletes, and you do feel like crap. And I've been through that, where you're on stage and you're just like, I'm dying, I'm dehydrated, I've eaten nothing. You know, you feel you're like lean. Like I remember being like 6% body fat for a girl. You're lean and you're just like stuffed. But then I've gone through another approach where I didn't cut water, I didn't cut sodium. I actually felt really good on the day, and I looked better. So it honestly depends how your coach preps you. There are all these scientific methods coming out now that work, which means you don't get stuff. But that's with the athletes. No matter which athlete you are, if you need to get lean enough or make weight and you're cutting it fine, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard, and you're going to feel like crap on the day no matter what sport you're doing. So you need to give it time.
Yeah, time is definitely so important.
Yeah,
You know?
and extra time than what you think you need. Yeah.
Well, you're prepared. You're going into it like you're not going to make the same mistake as you did.
Yeah, obviously. No, I'm gonna start early. You know, start earlier the preparation for and the dieting for. You know, and just stick with with what I have to do, and I'm 100% sure I'm gonna perform better this time.
But also with the macros, you found now you haven't even put as much weight on as you usually would.
No, definitely, because I mean I've always and the thing is, I mean I've always walked around like 85, 86, and one of the things I was talking to Nina before is like, okay, well, I'm actually fed up of being 85, 86. I actually want to walk around like 82, because then because my weight category normally is 79 kilos, so then it's gonna be really easy rather than coming from 86 in a competition in jiu-jitsu. You gotta fight on the day. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to do, and I know that changing the way you sit at, it's really difficult and it takes time, but just sticking with like your macros and all that, it actually helps you to achieve that. And that's what I felt, that since Abu Dhabi, since Brazil, now I walk around like 83. I mean, I've been injured for like a couple of weeks, and I'm still sitting around the same weight, but and I really don't use the app anymore. I just basically have a general idea now that I kind of just track the food sort of in my head, what I mean? And just for maintenance, of course, when I go back to, my next competition is in October, end of October, at the Pan Pacific Championship. So obviously I'm going to go back to the app and, making sure I track exactly everything, which is going to start fairly soon as well. So basically, now I'm really happy to just be able to walk around 83 kilos, 82 kilos.
Do you, in terms of nutrition, deal with this on a day-to-day? Because you're involved with Muscle Works?
Yes.
What's your relation there?
Well, that's not where the nutrition really ties in general. Well, MuscleWorks is a supplement company of sports nutrition. So, we sell protein powders and all the superfood, health foods, you name it, everything. And yeah, it's been part of that company for since it started, really. But at the end of the day, supplements help tie everything together. And I'm on a daily basis helping just general people with their goals. If I do spend a day in a store, which all ties in. So your nutrition is one thing, but then if you're an athlete, the supplements help so much, especially for the guys depleting, using things that have a bit of caffeine and energy and other ingredients in them, like pre-workouts, fat burners, do help them just get through the day.
Yeah, and recovery as well.
And then you've got things like your protein powder, which just helps, one, keep you sane. If you're having a chocolate drink when you're dieting, it's pretty good. And two, the repair. Protein is the building block of your entire body. So if you're tracking macros, I don't care if you get your protein from chicken or protein powder, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And then all the amino acids that you can use as well, just the repair factor is huge, because you want to be able to train hard one day but go into the gym again the next day and train just as hard without being sore and fatigued. So it all ties in together.
I remember I was taking a pre-workout. Do you remember Craze?
Yes.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
there's a reason it's off
He's
the
taken
market,
off the market,
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it methamphetamines?
No, so,
I'm pretty sure
well, okay.
it was
so,
borderline
At a very
methamphetamine.
affordable
much
rate.
So,
I'll tell you
I'll tell you what it actually is if you want. So basically, there's an ingredient that's called DMAA, and it's been banned in Australia. Everything comes from plants that that's in all the supplements. However, the DMA, that ingredient was chemically altered, and then it was classed under a family. So say guys who work on the mines and do all the medicals and P tests, it comes up as an amphetamine because it's from the same family. However, because it's a plant that was chemically altered in a lab, they made it illegal.
I was
And rightly so.
ridiculously, like
Focused.
stamina-wise.
Focus.
Oh, you just
2
go.
hours on the gym, wouldn't fatigue. I was insanely fit. This was like 4 years ago. I went to Europe, like in the best condition I've ever been in. Came back. I was like, everywhere I was going, I couldn't find. I started doing some research. It was taken off the shelves, and they pretty much said it was methamphetamines.
Yeah.
And then, since then, I don't really take pre-workouts anymore. A shot of coffee is pretty much all I take. I don't know.
That's good.
Well, the thing is, you hear a lot of tainted substances around on the market with pre-workouts, especially. Protein powders for the most part are essentially, you know what you're getting, but pre-workouts.
Pre-workout, yeah.
I'm sure you heard
these
some.
days it's pretty safe. Like the Australian TGA are pretty strict now, so nothing.
Do they review? Because
nothing's getting through customs without it being
Craze is
compliant.
an American company, was it?
So it was formulated in the US.
Yeah. And their FDA over there, just.
But now the guys who formulated that ingredient are in prison. So.
Oh really?
Yes.
They got prison time for that.
Yes. So you just gotta. Yeah. You're pretty safe with anything, like especially we're such a large company.
You can trust muscle works. I'm
not
trying to give like the supplements.
Because we're such a large company, everything has to be compliant to the labeling. For example, any vitamins that come through, if the labeling's not compliant, won't get through. So everything's really good.
Is that the craziest story you've heard? So I personally experienced that one myself. Have you heard of a crazier one out there?
Yeah, I won't talk about it.
No. Okay.
No, look, I think people just were also abusing those types of pre-workouts as well, taking them recreationally.
That's actually a very...
Which is what ruined it for everybody else. Thanks, guys.
You actually sparked my memory. I remember I had friends who were taking pre-workouts before going to the clubs and everything, mixing it with like vodka and...
and taking like 8 scoops, which you're not meant to do.
Yeah.
So, you need to use them carefully. Like, at the end of the day, they're caffeine. It's like if you drank 10 Red Bulls, how would you feel?
Yeah, I've done that mistake once. Just sitting in bed, just feeling my heart, like, I'm going to die here.
But they do, serve a good purpose for people that use them properly and can really help with someone's performance, especially athletes.
Do you use a lot of supplements, Will?
Yeah, I do actually, because, training, the way I train, you need something to recover your body, of course, all the other methods, helps, like, I go to, to Verve a fair bit, to get the, compression pants, cryo sauna and everything. That absolutely helps with my recovery for the training. But, of course, the supplements, definitely plays a big role. So, I take everything, BCAAs, protein powders, literally everything I can to help me to just feel, that I can train as hard as the next day.
Yeah. The, touching up on just, the equipment you have at the clinic. You got some amazing stuff.
Fantastic toys.
Those pants are amazing.
Oh, they're so good.
So for just tell people what they are. So you got compression pants is one.
Compression pants. So we got these things called the Normatec compression pants. So what they basically do, I'm sure some of the people probably seen you guys posting and that sort of stuff as well. So they're like compression pants and the cryotherapy or the cryosauna is probably our main sort of recovery sort of feature that we got in the clinic as well. So with the compression pants, we use like the Normatec boots. So they're like an American-made company. They're not a massive company, but they mostly got the NBA guys like LeBron James and a lot of like EPL soccer guys and then they're onto them as well. So they're more designed, well, basically you put these boots on and then they'll fill up with air and then basically sequentially, start compressing from your foot and work its way up to start promoting the blood flow, lymph and lactic acid that generally pulls in your legs when you're not recovering well. So and sort of accelerates the healing process in terms of in the recovery process. So look, they're things that they're only really for people who are training. Quite if you're doing a lot of weight training or running based sports, look, if you're not doing that sort of stuff, you're not going to see the same amount of benefit. But look, a lot of our CrossFitters or footy players and that sort of stuff, or combat sports guys that are onto them, they find what could take 2, 3, 4 days of 3 days of cover. During the next day, they're good to go as well. So for people who are training, doing 5 sessions, or double sessions a day, that's the difference between them, being able to get those sessions in or not.
And the tank for people seeing that, I'm sure.
The cryo sauna?
Yeah. So that's Will usually shirtless. He's jumping in there.
That's just Will in general.
Oh, yeah.
To get the abs out.
But tell people what that's all about, because that's quite a new method as well. That's,
So with the cryotherapy, basically what that means, cryo just means cold therapy, obviously. Therapy. So basically a couple of the mechanisms that people have traditionally done is like ice baths, which are a lot more, they're longer. It's cold, it's painful. But what cryotherapy is, basically uses the device that we have in the clinics basically uses basically like a booth where it covers your whole body. So basically your head's just popping up, and it uses liquid nitrogen as the form of cold therapy as well. So because it's dry and not wet, it's nowhere near as painful. So it does get down to about between negative 150 and negative 180 degrees sort of Celsius as well, but you're only exposed to it from 2 to maximum sort of 3 minutes at a time. So what we found is that it's one of these things that not only just athletes benefit as well, because it's massive anti-inflammatory response and releases these things called cold shock proteins. So there's heat shock and cold shock proteins. Basically, when you go to extreme cold or extreme hot, like a heat sauna, they're like massively beneficial in terms of minimizing the effect of stress on your body as well. So for me, for my own sort of managing stress and stuff like that, obviously I've done about 3 or 4 cryos this week. I
try doing that often.
Yeah, well, like at least twice. Really? And look, that's not obviously I've got it in the clinic, so it's a bit more viable. But most people that are using it, are probably using it a couple of times a week. Some people once a week. Other people might just use it if they get injured or just have a surgery or something like that. Might do a couple of times just to start speeding up the process. But there's an anti-inflammatory benefit, which what probably a lot of the athletes look for performance. But for myself, I guess I don't feel as bashed up as Will does, even though I train a bit. But for some reason, I've sort of between the adjustments and everything, I generally feel pretty good. But I find more the cognitive or the brain function benefits, like through a thing called with the cryotherapy release noradrenaline. So noradrenaline is a hormone that basically released from the adrenal glands as well, which when that's released, that helps improve your things like learning, mood. Memory and basically alertness as well. So that's probably the main reason I use it for. Not just for the recovery, but more for a lot of the guys that actually come and use it aren't necessarily. We got a lot of athletes that do use it, but it's more like the sales guys, business owners. Really? Yeah, and for me, that's probably for me the benefit I notice the most is that you go in there if you are a bit fatigued or anything like throughout the day, I just jump in there, 3 minutes, and and to be honest, like the endorphin release and how switched on you are,
and the calories as well, huh?
And the calorie
benefit. That's the best benefit.
Does it cure a hangover?
It's beneficial.
It
probably would, wouldn't it?
Oh, probably. I just find that
we'll open up some Sunday sessions. We'll see how we go with that. But
has there been any studies about that?
In terms of with hangovers?
Apparently, I don't know if this is true. Will you tell me?
Yeah.
Getting choked out apparently helps with hangovers.
Wow.
Have you heard that?
We can try that on you if you like.
Well, I heard. I know it apparently relaxes you like a lot. I've never been choked out, to be honest.
I'm not volunteering. Like, what is it?
Yeah, but everyone who's being choked out, have you been choked out?
No, never.
No, never. Well, one of us is going to get choked out.
I've been out.
But
I've been out plenty.
Have you?
Never.
But it relaxes.
Never.
Apparently relaxes you. Apparently you wake
in my
up.
happy place.
I just tap in time.
Yeah, but apparently relaxes you. Apparently you wake up and you're like, whoa, I feel so relaxed.
You've never.
Let's
never
not
been
promote
choked
this
out.
to the people.
I know.
We don't condone this outside the gym.
This is the thing when you see people getting choked out, you're like, oh my god, that's crazy. I've been choked out a few times at the gym. But it doesn't.
That's why you
It
tap.
doesn't freak. What happens is you actually go to your happy place. I go to the beach, and I'm relaxed and everything, and then I start waking up, and then you get this little bit of that twitch going on. and then you kind of, you know what's going. At first time, it's a little bit like, what the hell's going on? But then you kind of calm down.
Ryan, this is a new therapy you need to introduce at the clinic.
You can borrow me.
We're thinking 2017 opening up services.
Who knows,
Yeah,
maybe the old school
that's actually a good point. I've never heard of that though.
How funny.
But back to with the cryo as well. So I mean, there are a couple of things that a lot of people do use, but like a lot of other people don't realize. Like each session you do in 2 to 3, generally if you're probably gearing more towards 3 minutes, you burn 500 to 800 calories, and that's not in the 3-minute session. Obviously, that's the hours after. So your body just goes into like a thermodynamic sort of response, and basically just starts, through like basically you're not there shivering, but basically your body's trying to generate heat, and basically starts. There's a thing called brown fat and white fat. So the more regularly people are doing cryotherapy, even just general, so you don't have to do the cryo sauna, but like general exposure to cold temperature, which you probably wouldn't get so much in Perth, but probably obviously some other countries you would, it starts converting more of your white fat to brown fat. And the reason why it's brown is because there's more mitochondria, which are basically energy producing cells. So they, under microscope, they look brown. So the more of your fat that can become brown, your body's just more sort of efficient as well. So that's something, the more people are exposed to, cold or cold therapy like cryotherapy, basically it is a good mechanism in terms of making the body more efficient as well. But the other big benefit, which not so much people probably come through our clinic use it for, is there's a lot of people like health and beauty clinics, particularly like in America as well, because the cryotherapy has probably been around for about 3 years in terms of in a commercial sense, and it's bigger in America and Europe, but in the last probably 12 months, 18 months is starting to... we're catching on. We're always probably a couple of years behind.
I'm going to say here, and I like this bit.
But yeah, it stops collagen breaking down.
Oh, really?
There's this enzyme called collagenase. So that starts makes collagen sort of break down. So it starts preventing that breakdown process from happening. So like obviously collagen's in your skin. So a lot of women, particularly as they 30s, 40s, 50s, so they're using it for the anti-aging properties of it as well. But not only is collagen in your skins, but like heavily in like things like tendons. So a lot of people are getting tendonitis, and which is very common in athletes and stuff like that. And quite often I've found they've even a lot of people have been to what are the chiros, physios, massage therapists for particular issues, and then they've gone and done cryotherapy, and then found that's more successful. But obviously not with everything, but there's times and situations, but for things like those like tendon-based injuries, inflammatory issues, it's actually pretty effective for as well. So there are there's such a broad, there's from the athlete to the person for the beauty benefit to the I wouldn't suggest it for for weight loss. Obviously you'd be, but you do.
A lot of people for people who aren't aware, actually being in a colder environment actually essentially what is it that triggers your body? What is the chemical response name? Is there one to when your body actually is under a cold stress? Is it? So you actually burn more calories? Because I remember reading this. Was it 4 Hour Body? Do you remember that?
Ferris.
Yeah. How he spoke about cold showers. Ice bags behind the neck.
Yeah.
Basically tricks your body into thinking it's
going to hypothermia.
Well, that's basically it. And then it causes like a shivering response within the body as well. And then through that, it's trying to generate heat. And then that starts to have that flow-on effect of converting fat to brown fat, increasing mitochondrial production. So then your body starts becoming a bit more efficient.
I haven't tried it. I got to get
it. It's good. And the sleep you have that night is amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, it's one of those things, it's not for everyone. Like, like things, like so many therapies out there, it's not for everyone. But, probably of the people that we come in and use it, probably, one in...
I need to come more often.
So it's one of those things that, probably 50% of people like absolutely love it the first time they do. Probably like 25% go, nah, fuck this, it's too cold.
It's one of those things that's like the worst 3 minutes of your life, but it's the most beneficial thing you can do.
And people...
The thought of it's worse than actually doing it. You just have to keep yourself going. I always get there, I'm like, oh, it's too cold, but you just force me to go.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad after
you can
do a couple of
eventually,
times.
your first time is always the hardest.
Yeah.
Your first time is always the hardest, but like, I do it, I said like 2-3 times a week now.
Jump up and down
so jump in
the whole time.
3 minutes, no stress.
Nice. Anything else you want to cover about the seminar? Anything else you want to
I love how everyone looks at me.
Well, they warned me.
We're the side dish.
Yeah, we're
I've
absolutely
been
side
I've
dishes.
been letting you
I mean,
take the.
Yeah, I was going to.
I'm lucky to get a spot on the poster.
Prior to this, the boys were saying you will be lucky to get a sentence.
I'm surprised.
I have done this before. I know when to pull back the reins. I'm joking.
Are you sure?
No, look, it's just, it's a first time for us. So we're just really excited, and we're all three of us are just really passionate about everything each of us do. And we share a common passion as well. So we're just excited to get a good message out there. And we just encourage every female to come down and, if they can't make it, show interest, and we can do more.
Yeah, we're on the second one for sure.
There'll be some more coming up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, if they can't make it or if they have any questions, we're all on social media. They can find us. If they want to try anything that's martial arts related, they can go and train at BC with Will. I'm there too. If they get a bit scared, they can message me, and I'm usually down there. They need someone to help them. Even contact Ryan, even if they're not in Perth, in regards to body recovery or cryos in interstate or anything like that. And I'm always open. I might take a while to get back to you because I get a lot of messages, but I do get back to everyone eventually. So just any girls with any issues, because I've honestly been through everything under the sun in terms of like health issues, nutrition. I've learned everything the hard way, unfortunately, but now it's great because I can actually share my experience and I've learned what to do instead of what not to do.
And sharing the experience is actually so beneficial for girls to feel like I'm not in this alone.
Absolutely.
When you feel like you've got body issues, you realize a lot of people do actually have them.
Yep.
Majority of society, you would actually say, have body issues.
Every person. You can't tell me that you didn't wake up today and you didn't have one negative thought about the way you looked. Everybody has that day, or every day in a lot of cases for some women, that's their reality. Every day they can't even look in the mirror. So a lot of people just don't talk about it, and it's really hard, especially in such a social media heavy world now. Like everything's on social media. You just scrolling through Instagram, you just perfect body, and that's something we're really going to talk about as well. It's not reality.
Yeah. Well, you got to think about where this really stemmed from, and this is based on insecurity, really. And I actually spoke to my kinesiologist about this, and I asked her, what is the whole deal with this whole insecurity thing? And she said to me, it's actually a primitive human instinct where you actually want to feel like you belong to a group of people. And if you feel like you want to be part of a pack of humans, for example, where they have a better aesthetic features, you feel like you want to belong, and that's your drawing to actually want to be united within that group. So it's actually quite a primitive thing. Yeah. When you start to think about it, it's like that actually makes complete sense.
But then when that's in every single piece of media that you pick up every day.
Yeah. Well, it's been like, obviously with the Instagram and the photos, and not just that, it's body shaming as well out there, So I'm sure girls might speak up on their experiences during the seminar.
Yeah,
put their hand up, and it would be nice for the girls to share.
It's funny, I do have quite a few girls coming that I know very well, and I know their history with it all, and I've been forcing them to actually come. And it's incredible what some people go through, and you don't realise that how extreme and how much it actually consumes their whole life of such a little thing that you might not think is a big deal, and it actually takes over someone's whole life. And they can't even look in the mirror, they can't go out to eat at a restaurant, they can't do these things, and that's reality for a lot of people. So we just want to break that.
That's beautiful. I think a lot of people are going to love, a lot of girls, are going to love the seminar.
Yeah, definitely. So it's this Saturday at
Saturday the 3rd of September.
2:30.
2:30.
Yeah.
Should they try and get there a little bit earlier to kind of...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Try and get like 15 minutes earlier,
That's not Brazilian time.
No, please. No,
That's
Brazilian
2:30
time.
Australian
There's
time.
Brazilian time. And then there's
Australian time,
You're
please.
rolling at 5 o'clock.
That's it. I mean, they can still register. I'll give you the link, or they can email me at inquiries@ninasilic.com.
Where else are you? On Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook.
She's everywhere.
She's
everywhere.
I mean, you're everywhere. Where would you like people to find you?
For the info about the seminar, they can go to my website, which is ninasilic.com. SILIC. I'm Croatian. So no
Kako si?
CH. Kako si dobro.
Dobro, hvala ti. I
Hvala.
play for a Croatian football club, so that's why.
So
we're
you
not
need to know
cultured.
these things. Well, this is great because they're always speaking Portuguese, so this is
Tudo
good.
bem.
So on my website there is actually a drop-down link to an info section about the seminar, and they can register directly there as well.
Will, where can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Will Diaz JJ. I'm on Facebook as well, just as William Diaz. But BrazilianCombat.com.au is the website for my school. So you guys can just feel free to message, if any questions or anything like that. I'm always...
Don't be shy, guys. These guys are super friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Any questions about jiu-jitsu
friendly.
with Nina, with Ryan, just give a message, Ryan.
My
Your
details.
plug.
No, a little plug. So my Instagram is at Dr. Verve.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
it's a good one. A
Dr.
lot of thought
Verve.
went into that one. And website's vervecaro.com.au, and you can find us on Facebook as well.
You're in your clinics in what?
Like South Perth, Como on the border there.
Yeah, beautiful. That's pretty much it, guys. Anyone want to say anything before we wrap it up? That's it.
Not really. I think
Just looking forward to seeing everyone there, and it's going to be really fun.
yeah, absolutely.
No, thank you guys for coming out. It was good fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You can find me at Project C Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Project C. Pretty much every social media is at Project C. And thank you guys once again for coming out.
you.
And
Thanks for having
best
us.
of
for
luck with
having
the
us.
seminar, and really looking forward to hear the feedback. I'm sure it will be really positive.
We need to do a recap episode.
All right, absolutely.
Good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.